Happy Friday, everyone. Today, December the 20th, 2024. I apologize for my voice. I've been with the flu for the past 5 days. Was that the reason the market sneezed? Joking aside, everyone, thank you for being here once again. Another session of charting across the board. Is a bull market over? That's one of the questions some of the members and a few may be asking. However, this is only potentially a correction, at least so far, until further evidence on the macro present itself. However, a significant turbulence must be noted and considered as an early sign of potentially a change in character, a change of polarity within the trend. It is also important to identify when a trend may be changing or shifting direction from an uptrend to a downtrend, or vice versa. Since we have been within an uptrend clearly since 2022, October 2022 bottom cycle low to current highs, it's also worth noticing the readings that are presented over and over in the chart as pattern recognition. We are going to start the chart on Bitcoin and the S&P 500. Why? Because there are two significant developments that took place after the completion point of a bearish butterfly that we have been pretty much tracking since early this month, as well as a time action or the price action with intersection between time axis expected for the week of December 16th. We have been looking for this intersection between price and time since last month in November, and now we are observing indeed an intersection. Okay, I'm going to explain why I did not know the directional trend back then. Of course, without any data set, it's almost impossible to know which direction the market will go. However, when there is plenty of evidence after, for example, the completion point, in this case of a bearish butterfly, that aligns with the timing factor, we then can speculate and have a bias, sort of, that the market may go down after, of course, other variables such as momentum indicators, completion point, the PRC, potential reversal zone. That is what the name PRC suggests. PRC, keep in mind Z as zebra, potential reversal zone, either at the completion point of a bearish pattern in this case, or at the lows also, at the completion point of another PRC, potential reversal zone. Okay, what do we have in the price action for Bitcoin? First and foremost, I believe it's very crucial and important to go into what the readings were presenting in the price action pretty much since last week only. Okay, to go over those readings, only to present the arguments, what occurred, what is taking place, and where the price action may be heading to for Bitcoin. Okay, 1 second, guys. I'm looking for the Discord. I apologize, I'm a little slow today due to the medicine and the congestion. I'm sure I'm not the only one with this sickness, as pretty common. We are pretty much in the season for it. All right, going into the Discord, this is where we present all the arguments or the variables for our interpretation of the market generated information. Okay, so this is where we were looking. Of course, there was a long execution also at the early construction prior to the upward move from the 90, I believe it was 97, 95 to the 107, 100,007 or 100,007 points on BTC. Okay, we executed a long position from, we ideally wanted to execute a long at this completion point, okay, at the 50%. We presented those arguments. However, we entered a bit higher after a new market structure was defined as support. As you can observe here, this one was also a previous short execution, 10% decline almost, or 9%. Since then, we're trying to execute a long, looking for an information. Did not occur, okay. However, after the pattern presented itself, we then encounter the previous structure resistance as support, and we have executed 99.05. I'm sorry, 99,500 was a long execution on this short move, okay, from the 99 to 107, 108, roughly. That was the area for this, okay, pending back then, pending W formation we're tracking after the completion point that also serve as the profit taking levels. And also from long positions, I mentioned that I was going to be switching from longs to shorts. Okay. Here we stated that as the plan continues for Bitcoin, I'm using the PRCs. Once again, potential reversal zone as illustrated in the chart above this post as profit taking levels, where at the same time I will look switching positions from the longs at 99.5, okay, to potentially short positions at 1,272. The 1,272, the extension was at 107. We went to 108, slightly higher. The next one, if prices would go higher, was at 1.41 as well as a 1.618. Okay. I also mentioned that before switching positions from current longs 99.5 to shorts at 107, we'll look for signs of reversal first once and if we get to those levels. Keep in mind that this one was at 99,000, projecting that upward traction. Since we got to those levels, okay, it's also important to demonstrate here what has occurred at the completion point of this bearish butterfly, okay? On the 4-hour, we indeed printed a shooting star. That was a sign of reversal point. That was indicating a potential turning point. That indeed manifested in nearly 15% decline as the current lows, 92,000 I believe was the lows, okay? Prior to this move, what was the other argument we were looking on BTC? For those of you in the room were already aware of this ascending Browning formation, implying a change in trend. We were repeating over and over that it was looking for these type of formations. Ideally, we were looking somewhere here for an M formation. Did not occur. However, now we have indeed the breakdown of this lower trend line of this ascending Browning formation that normally indicates a shift in market trend. Okay. Could this now be the 5% decline or false breakout that we were looking for, or false breakdown in this case? This one went slightly lower, nearly 8% from the lower trend line, okay? Okay, so that can be the argument as of now if prices are recapturing or holding at least position so far within 3.70% at current levels, 96.9 to, let's say, 5% would be 94. 95K should ideally now be the key zone to not go any lower. Recapture or retest the lower trend line as support or as resistance, and we will then know. However, after the completion point of this bearish butterfly, I do have another reading. Those of you who are in the room are already aware of those levels for another connecting points of this discernible low, discernible high, and you guys get the points, okay? We're looking for another level if prices were to decline slightly lower. We were pretty close or nearly to the 80s, right? We went to 92,000, final support. Looking left, market lift clues. We found support from the previous structural resistance of November the 13th. Okay. If we apply here an horizontal line, you guys can observe that we are finding support as of now, at least. Okay. From the previous structure resistance, November 17th, 92,000 region. Okay. So now, this will be up to market participants to know if the bull market is over. Again, this is indeed only a correction. We're still trading at 96,000 region. This is not a bear market yet, right? This is not a sign to say that the trend has indeed 100% shifted from an uptrending market to a lower or to a new trend, a bear market per se. However, as I said before, it's also important to monitor significant time intervals. For the time, the intersection between price and time, we're looking nearly a month on the week of December the 16th. Okay, if I go into the weekly time frame, this one was indeed, I need to go into a new exchange only to not delete my work here on Binance. This is the week, okay? Also another ABCD reciprocal also presented in the room. This is still the same overspill of those levels. Can that still be the case? Absolutely. Why? Because these type of formations on the weekly or the monthly generate higher overspills, overthrows at the PRC. However, the week of December 16th, we're looking for this intersection between price and time since last month, November. Now, indeed, presenting some turbulences. There are still 2 days left for the weekly session. Okay, prior to Christmas, I believe is next week, and the next one on the monthly will of course dictate what the candle close will be. Are we going to print another shooting star? We will see. This is not a shooting star. However, clearly some sellers presented themselves. Raise your hands if you were one of those. 107, 108. However, let's not call yet that a bull market is over. That's not the case, okay? But again, it is worth mentioning all the readings we're looking on the macro for BTC as well as the S&P 500, okay? Those readings, you guys already know, the monthly and the weekly are presenting and were presenting for nearly a month and even 2 now. Higher highs in the price action, lower highs in both, or at least in the RSI, okay? Indeed, some overvalue conditions on the relative strength index, suggesting at least profit-taking levels were presented at those levels, okay? Now, if you guys are interested to learn where we may be heading to, of course, all of this only is an idea on BTC. This is all posted already in the room from the previous completion point of the butterfly, even prior to its formation. 1 second, guys. This is potentially a piercing line now that I'm observing here as we are doing this stream live. Can this be a Harami or a piercing line? Reversal pattern here presented on BTC on the 4-hour time frame. Okay. However, we need some follow through, recapture also this line of resistance above. Okay. This is where I said 95, 94 should be a level to be recaptured pretty much on Bitcoin to avoid the shift in trend that the ascending running formation was yielding pretty much for, we were potentially earlier, I would say, since this lower trend line did not break back then. We're looking for a Garley in this segment too long, the Garley too long. However, we managed to capture portion of the last leg of the move on the long and then a short. Okay, so we will see what these levels will translate into if the trend will indeed change. If that's the case, you guys already know the levels if we go any lower. Okay, now on the S&P 500, moving to S&P 500, what did the S&P printed or did print recently? The S&P 500, I believe many were calling for Jerome Powell. I believe some of them believe that he was the one who spoke or spooked the market. That was not the case. There's also always a narrative that comes after the pattern present themselves. As you guys know, we are pattern traders. And of course, we're going to be having more bias to pattern recognition. Okay. This is a pending or now a completed bullish cipher with a reactive move, at least so far, is being manifested in the price action for the S&P 500. If we go into the previous construction of this pending formation, this is where I said this is not an indication yet. However, we need to pay attention to potential signs of weakness. This pattern was, apologize, 1 second. Apologize, guys, the cough. This pattern was a pending a pending pattern, okay, on the S&P. Previously presented also. I'm not sure why this is not loading. 1 second, guys. There you go. Okay. So this one was the ideal scenario. Of course, it was also part of my work, my personal work only. As you guys already know, I like to trade or to track also the analysis from the CD and then to another M that can translate into a W or vice versa from a multi-harmonic structure. The pattern that I traced here was from December 18th, only 2 days ago, okay? That was an idea, a technical proposition within my cards, my readings, and we indeed fell from 61,000. We also presented a very, I believe it was a very scrap pattern at the highs. However, you guys know that on the weekly, we have the major ABCD structure. Reason why it is important to be cautious of these informations now. Will they start to underperform? If so, then we need to pay attention to the lower highs on the daily, okay? This pattern, once again, was a pending bullish cipher based on the daily time frame, the new contract after the rollover. And where did we go? Indeed, to the completion point of the PRC at the 0.786, 58.68, bouncing majorly as of now on the daily. Okay, 3% only today. Major move here on the S&P 500. Is the bull market over? As I said before, we never know, okay? But what is important to track now will be the common areas of retracement, ranging from 0.382, the 0.50, and the 0.618, with significance at the 0.618 and the 0.50. 6,023, slightly higher now, and 60,060. These levels should be ideal. A level, a zone to be recaptured. Once again, apologize. Should be recaptured at the 0.618, 60, okay? Why? Because we want to monitor another potential lower high if the market is indeed changing, okay? There are plenty of pending formation that may be constructing here within this segment of the move on the daily for the S&P 500. Therefore, it is too early to call that this trend has been shifted, okay? However, on the daily time frame, it is extremely important once again to track the development of these formations, okay? Same for BTC as well as for the S&P 500. Everyone, thank you for being here. There is one energy sector that is pretty much flying, almost not flying necessarily, but is moving. It has been in our radar. Natural gas. I see that the 360 is being bridged now. Was finding resistance. I said that we would like to monitor informations based on the major structure printed on the weekly, the monthly, I believe also. For everyone, my voice is bothering me, so I would not be able to make a long stream today. But I wanted to make one last stream prior to Christmas and hopefully another one prior to the year end. I will be traveling tomorrow, so I'll try to reply to all the questions and doubts. However, you guys know you can do your own arguments. I only present mine. If you like the idea, you execute upon them. And of course, none of these represent financial advice. However, I'm taking a course for the securities license only as a personal challenge, okay? Doesn't mean I will be a financial advisor, but I would like to learn more about regulations in the US, okay? Everyone, thank you for being here. I hope you and your family have a great holidays. And remember to live a life with an attitude of gratitude and also to trade risk responsibly. I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.